Bitcoin and Litecoin update. Is Bitcoin fueling up for the next rally? What's up, guys? Crypto Savvy here. I hope everybody's having a fabulous Thursday. We're going to take a look at the chart, starting out with Litecoin, moving on to Bitcoin. Then we're going to take a look at my favorite chart, the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly chart. And I'll show you why I believe we're going to hit 46,000 by the end of the year. So definitely stick around to the end to check that out. We have been following that chart on this channel since January. So it's getting pretty interesting, guys. Definitely check it out. Also, I want to remind you guys, there's a free Discord group in the description link below the video. Scroll down there, you'll see a link to the Discord. It's totally free. Best community in crypto by far. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Also, there's some affiliate links down there. There's some exchanges you can sign up to and get some bonuses, and some of them free crypto. Definitely check those out. It helps the channel out, guys. Also, there's a ledger link down there. Keep your cryptos safe. Keep them off the exchange. The newest one I added is a platform owned by KRAKEN, and I believe there's 26 exchanges on it. You could put all your exchanges on one to keep track of your portfolio instead of, you know, checking around and having to kind of keep looking in different directions to get your total of your portfolio. This holds it all on one. You can do all your trading off the platform and everything. So definitely check it out, and let's get into the video. Alright guys, as always, want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind it's still a speculative market, so don't put in more than you're willing to lose. And with that being said, if you're new here and you want to get daily updates, definitely hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand side of the screen. That'll get you subscribed to the channel. Then if you tick that little notification bell, that'll get you notified when I post new videos. And guys, check your notifications and your subscriptions. Make sure you're still subscribed, because a couple people have complained that YouTube unsubscribed them and turned their notifications off. So definitely check that. And also smash likes, leave your comments, and let's get into the video. All right, so looking at the weekly, as you can see, we've been watching this for quite a while now. We're making higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the RSI. That is hidden bullish divergence, guys. So I do see some major, a major move coming, and most likely up, and we'll take a look at why in a minute. Also, let's look at, I don't know if you can see it in this chart. Nope, we'll have to go into the bigger chart to check it out, but let's look at the daily. All right, so looking at the daily, we're just going to zip through this real quick. If you guys been watching the channel, you know where we're at. I'm still looking at this as a cup, and this being a handle formed here in Litecoin. Neckline at 146. The break of that gets us to 271 range. Again, guys, that's not my end of the year target. If Bitcoin does hit my target of 46,000, I do believe Litecoin is going to be more in the range between 500 and 1,000. But we will just have to watch and see. That's why I do daily updates, to keep us updated on what the market is doing. Let's look at the daily RSI. Okay, so in the daily RSI for Litecoin, we had been following this since from December. In the yellow here, the rising channel. We broke out of that into a falling channel. And where we're sitting now, we've been keeping an eye on this. We broke out of this falling broadening wedge right here. And I was looking at this channel here. We're falling out of that channel now. So the question is, are we forming another rising broadening wedge? Or are we going to come all the way down and retest the top of this falling wedge here? So let's look at the 4-hour and see if that tells us anything more. So in the 4-hour, I do have this new wedge formation drawn in here. We could be looking to bounce around in this. We have more room to come down and touch this. We're going to look at the price action and see what that's telling us now. All right, so in the price action, Gonna look for some divergence. We really don't have a whole lot of divergence going on right now. So let's get into the price action. We'll take a look at the bearish case first, and then we'll take a look at the bullish case. Even though I think the bearish case is still bullish in the long run. But let's take a look at it, guys. We have been watching this falling channel. Let me zoom out so you can see it. Right here, we had sort of a bear trap here before getting back up in the channel. And if you notice, we also seem to be forming a ascending triangle here, which usually breaks up. We'll have to see how that plays out. It may come down more, something like this. So we could be coming back down to test the top of this channel again. The worst case, well, not worst case, but this 83 range would be coming down to retest this long-term trend line here, guys. If that doesn't hold, and again, I don't believe we're going to go this low, but if we do and this doesn't hold, my ultimate low for Litecoin, we've been talking about it for months, is around the 62. And actually, it's probably going to raise up a little bit now, 63, 64, which is this long-term trend line here. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing for Litecoin. Now let's look at our measured moves here and see what I'm looking at for the more immediate price action. So looking at this as a ascending triangle or wedge here, we do a measurement of the widest point from the touch, and where we break out would be around the 136 range. If we break out where these two trend lines coincide right here, would be a breakout to around the 136 range. My other target is just a measurement of this channel here and where we broke out here, and that gets us around the 128. So I am looking for, as long as we don't break lower than the 83, I am looking for the 128 to 136 range, and we will keep updated and see where that's headed. But again, guys, I'm still bullish here. I don't believe we're gonna, the worst case, I don't believe we're gonna break this blue line, but definitely keep an eye on it. Now let's look at Litecoin, or Bitcoin, I'm sorry. Same thing in Bitcoin. Higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the RSI. Definitely getting hidden bullish divergence there. Another thing I want to show you guys, get this off of here, is in the RSI on the weekly. We've been watching this and it's looking pretty damn good, guys. So as you can see, this is back in 2015, before we started the big bull run. And if you look at this area right here, compare it to this area right here, that is where I believe we're at right now. And we're probably most likely, and again, guys, these don't play out exactly, but we're most likely going to see something like this, you know, and this bull run could go on for, you know, another 2 years, but we will have to watch and see, and keep watching daily. We'll keep our daily updates going and keep an eye on this market. Let's look at the daily now. We're going to look at the more longer term, or the more long-term moves. Right now, I'm still looking at this as a bull flag, and I do believe we are going to pop through it this week sometime, most likely. Worst case, next week. But if we do hit the bullish scenario, I do have a measured move of the width of this bull flag, looking at it as a channel. Measured move to about 16.3. Zoom in a little bit. And looking at this as a flagpole, and this being a flag, I do have a measured move of around the 18.4 range. So those are the two targets I'm looking for if we do break up from this. And if you guys can see, looking at this volume right here, see how the volume's declining? It's even declined while we're going up here. And usually that's what happens when we're in a formation. And once this breaks, guys, we will see huge volume coming out of this, whether we fall down or up. My bias is definitely up from here. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Also want to point out this thicker white trend line if you're new. I do think that was a confirmation of a trend reversal right here, and it was right when we crossed over at about 65.50, which was old resistance back here. So definitely yeah, keep an eye on that. Also, I want to show you some higher targets that I'm looking at. If we were to look at this trend line I have drawn here, and we're to break through around the 16,000 range, my target would be around the $28,000 range. That's more just for fun. It all depends on where we break out. Depending on where we break this trend line here, that'll give us an idea where we're headed, guys. So now let's take a look at one more target. Let me actually, I'm gonna go into the weekly to get that target real quick. All right, so looking at the weekly, we look at where this broke out here, and we do a measured move off of that breakout, looking at this whole thing as a flagpole, and we put it up to here. That gets us up to about the $22,000 range. So I believe we're about to see some really exciting times in Bitcoin. Let's go into the daily RSI. Actually, yeah, let's go into the daily RSI. All right, so looking at the daily RSI, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. We don't need these in here anymore. Don't need that anymore. We can go ahead and pull this out of here. Okay, and what we've been watching here for the last couple weeks is this formation here. If we look at this as a inverse head and shoulders, we come up back to that trend line, another inverse head and shoulders, back to the trend line, another inverse head and shoulders, and I do believe we're headed back to the trend line. This is going to be our next big move up, guys. Definitely keep an eye on that. I also want to show you how this trend line right here helped us get these peaks. If you've been following the channel, you'll see that, you know, as we called these, they hit perfect. When we hit the top of the trend line here, this was the top of this big move. Then we got some sideways action. As you can see, we got, as this was staying sideways, kind of going up, the RSI was resetting. Then we got our next move up, bouncing off of this trend line here, and got us up to our peak. This helped us call the peak of that one. We did get, you know, it was still rising here while the RSI reset and came down. Got our next move up after bouncing off of this trend line, and that got us up to our next peak. Now we're in another formation. RSI is reset all the way back down to here, and as you can see, excuse me, lower lows in the RSI, higher lows in the price action. Hidden bullish divergence, guys. I do believe we're ready for a big move up, and this is going to come back up. This trend line here will help us catch the top of this move, whether it be 16 or 18,000, somewhere in that range. So definitely keep an eye on that. We're going to look at the 4 hour, and then we're going to go to more immediate price action. 4 hour RSI. If you guys are wondering what all this is, check all my past videos. We had watched this, you know, forever now. So what I'm looking at now is a rising broadening wedge. Worst case, this being bullish, we break through the bottom and continue down more, and we're going to take a look at that here in a second. I do have this trend line in here and in here, looking at this as a rising broadening wedge that we broke down out of. Possibility that we continue on in here and break the bottom of that. That's going to be the more bearish case scenario. I do believe we're probably going to continue up. Let's look at the price action. We'll take a look at the bearish case, and then we'll take a look at the bullish case scenario. So in the bearish case scenario here, I still have a very good possibility that we come down and test this $11,000 range, and that being the neckline of this Adam and Eve right here. We also have a measured move of that Adam and Eve. Where is my measured move? Is that it? Nope. I guess I'm going to have to draw another one in there real quick. Or is this it? No, this is it right here. So the measure move of the Adam and Eve is you measure from the neckline down to the bottom of the Adam, and you put it up to where we broke out, and that gets us around the $13,000 range. So that's still definitely my target as of now. And usually when we break through these necklines, we come back and test them. That's why I'm saying I still believe there's a possibility to get down to this 11,000 or 11,050 range before our move up. And as you can see, I have these trend lines in here, and it's looking like a rising channel. I do believe if the bottom of that channel holds, the lowest we may see before our move up is going to be around this 11,240 range, somewhere in there. I'm going to put a target there. We keep an eye on it. Somewhere around there, 274, somewhere around in that area. Again, these aren't exact, guys. These are giving us an idea. But that would be the bottom of that trend line before our move up. And I did say we were going to take a look at the bearish case scenario first. So sorry, guys. I'm going to switch it up and look at the bearish case. Bearish case is that this 11,000 doesn't hold. Next line of support would be around the 10,600, which would be the 200 EMA here. If that didn't hold, guys, then we're looking at the $9,800 range, and that would be the bottom of this rising channel right here that we popped out of here, pop back into here. If that wasn't to hold, then we're looking at the number. Actually, this is going to move up here, guys. So yeah, around the 10,000 range would be the bottom of that channel. And if that wasn't to hold, guys, I think we're looking at this white thick trend line that I showed you. I believe is the trend reversal line. And that would be around the $9,700 range. I honestly believe if we made it down there, this would definitely hold, but I don't think we're going down there. If that breaks, though, then we're looking at the 8,500, which is off of this trend line here that we broke through here. So definitely keep an eye on that, guys. Like I said, I'm bullish here. I don't believe that scenario is going to play out. Just a reminder, stick around to the end and look at the Bitcoin daily versus the gold weekly chart. There's a lot of information in there. So yeah, like I said, if we came down to the bottom of this channel, that's going to be around the 11,250, somewhere in there. Retesting the neckline of this Adam and Eve is going to be around the 11,000 to 11,050. I do have a measured move here. If we are creating just a triangle right here, right now, let me show you. I'll put a couple trend lines in there just so you can see what I'm talking about. Looking at this as a triangle. Our measured move off the breakout of that, just looking at this as the flagpole right here, would be, we're to break out in this area. It's going to get us up to around the 13.7 range. Let's go ahead and put a target there. Put a target up here. I know there's a lot of targets here, guys. We'll get better info once we once we know exactly what's going on. Also, the measured move of this rising channel here, depending on where we break, if we broke out here, could get us up into the 14,500 range. But again, guys, I'm looking more longer term up to this 16,000 to 18,000 range. We put this back down in here. One more thing I want to point out. I showed you this as a triangle, but again, I said the possibilities of going down here. If we get this one off of here, clone this, bring it down, that would, we could create a bull flag here, and that could bring us down to that $11,000 range before our move up. So definitely keep an eye on that. No matter what, guys, I'm pretty damn bullish here. I do believe when we break this top trend line, there's going to be some fireworks, and we're going to come up. But just a reminder, when we do break this top trend line, there's a real good chance we break up and out and come back down to retest it before continuing up. So keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at the Bitcoin daily chart versus the gold weekly chart. Looking at the Bitcoin daily chart, if you guys have not been watching and do not know what's going on here, I'm looking at this as a pattern. And if we look at this white dotted line I have drawn here from the all-time high down to the 6,000 range before we capitulated, and then the trend line here from the second peak to the $6,000 range before we capitulated. This is a long-term bottom trend line. Notice there's two touches before breaking through these two trend lines and continuing up. Also, I have this blue line here. Stay with me, guys. This blue line here from resistance from the old bear market, or support from the old bear market, I'm sorry, where we broke through here, came back down with a quick wick test and moved on up to this next resistance line, which was old support in the bear market off of these bottoms here. Brought across, we played around this area for quite a while. Now, I do not see us breaking this white trend line again. We could come back down to test it for sure. Do I think we're gonna? 50-50 chance. But if we do, I don't see this line breaking again. Everything looks extremely strong here. My last line I've drawn here is this from our peak here to our peak here, and I believe once this breaks, then that's going to be around the 13.5 range, somewhere in there. Obviously, I believe we're going to have a huge bull move. Keep an eye on this blue line, and this being my end of the year target of $46,000 to $47,000, somewhere in that range. The closer we get to it, you know, the better price we can get on it. But I do want you to look at what I just said. Look at this whole formation here. I do believe this is a pattern. I believe in patterns. And let's look at the gold weekly chart. Do you see any resemblance? I do believe this is playing out. Digital gold playing out just like gold did. Yeah. If you see this blue line here, trend line, see where gold hit it and came back down to retest before continuing up. That's possible, but you know, I'm not so sure. Obviously, it's not going to play out for candle, but the interesting thing is I've drawn this neckline here, looking at this as a cup handle forming. And if we did a measured move from the bottom to that neckline, which is around the 13.8, if we bring it up and we were to break that 13.8 again, 24,000 is where that line ends up. So like I said, that's not a for sure thing, obviously, just something interesting to look at. Now let's go into the RSI. Well, first I'll take a look at the gold. Same thing in gold. This bottom trend line, we did two touches on the bottom before breaking through these two trend lines from the peaks, and we came up, blew through the blue line, came back down, tested it real quick, just like in Bitcoin, and we came up and straddled the white line here, just like in Bitcoin. Like I said, it's not candle for candle, guys, but it's amazing the resemblance. Then we broke through this yellow line, which is right here, like I said, around 13.8. Came all the way up and came back down to retest the yellow and the white line. Actually, it retested the white line almost and continued on up. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at there. Now let's look at the RSI in Bitcoin. We'll take a look at the weekly. I already showed you in the beginning here these two resemblance, or these two, how much this resembles each other right here before this huge bull run started. And I believe, you know, that's where we're at in this chart. But notice the two trend lines I have here. This is the 2013 bull run, followed by the bear market. On this trend line, we had two touches of resistance before breaking through, starting the bull market. Same over here, 2017 bull market followed by the bear market, two touches of resistance before starting the bull market. Let's look at the monthly. All right, looking at the monthly, we have 2013 bull market, 2017 bull market. I have these arcs drawn in here. From the 2013 bull market followed by the bear market. Each one of these arrows representing a new low in the RSI. There's 4 of them before starting the bull market. 2017 bull market, followed by the bear market. 4 arrows representing a new low in the RSI before the bull run. The only difference might be this being a lot quicker, a lot faster. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely consider subscribing by clicking the Crypto Savvy logo above my head so you don't miss out on anything, as I do post videos every day and often do nightly live streams. So click the notification bell to get you notified so you don't miss out when those come up. So appreciate you guys stopping by. Hope everyone has a great day, and I'm out.